it's like smoked Gouda in a beer.
Wow.
Today we're going to be trying this Rauch beer from Göller out of Franconia. This is a smoked lager, smoked with beechwood, a specialty to the region, and outside of Franconia, not very well known. This has won 2 European beer stars, a highly awarded beer, though slightly unusual to American palates. Not available in the United States except through Ancient Crafts importers out of Kansas. We're lucky enough to have a bottle today.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, so we got a nice dark amber color underneath a pretty strong head.
Yeah, it's a more creamy head.
Yeah, it's super crystal clear amber, but really beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of woody amber, just
Yeah.
so appetizing.
Oh yeah. Ooh, got a very, it's definitely got
Wow.
a smoked smell.
That's like a smoked cheese. Oh, that's great.
Ooh, smoked Gouda.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
And the
That's
head is,
great.
The head is really clean too, right? It's very, I guess when you think of color, it's very white.
I just want to smell it. It smells so good.
Oh man,
You
that's
know-
all I can think of is smoked cheese. Wow. It's the
You
first
know-
time I've smelt a beer like that.
I wonder, I'm sure there's a lot of selection that goes into what sort of wood you would smoke this with, but I think this, not being a smoke connoisseur, this seems like a very appropriate smoke flavor. It's not a mesquite smoke, it's not a barbecue smoke,
Right.
it's not a Scotch smoke.
Yeah, I'm
It's-
familiar with like appleWoods,
Yeah.
mesquite,
This is a
hickory.
really nice,
Those three,
dry, sort of, I don't know, this seems like a really appropriate sort
Actually,
of smoke
there is
selection.
oddly enough, I think it's Dubliner cheese. They have an applewood smoked cheddar,
Mm.
and it kind of makes me think of that. But also a smoked Gouda.
This
But
just
there's-
smells like smoked Gouda to me.
Well, Prost.
Prost.
Mm. Wow, I love that. The smell is the flavor you get.
Oh yeah.
It's
really
delicious.
Yeah. It's like smoked Gouda in a beer.
Wow.
This would be perfect. Smoked Gouda, maybe some cold cuts or
It's like what you smell is what you get. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that is fantastic. It tastes exactly like it smells.
Yeah.
It has a really rich, smoky start. Lands on the tongue.
And as dark as it is, you'd think it'd come out a little more malty, either in the middle or the end, but it doesn't. It's a clean, as I would think of it, a clean, crisp type of beer as well.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've said a lot about the smoke flavor, but it's not overpowering.
No,
No.
definitely
It's
not.
like
overpowering.
it's the perfect amount, and it's just sort of the smoke kind of recedes right as the malt rises up.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, and it's sort of got a middle texture as far as it doesn't just roll right through your mouth.
Yeah.
It kind of hangs little, but it doesn't hang around terribly long.
Mm.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really a beautiful beer. Just so balanced. No distractions. It's like one clean arc of flavor. It's
Yeah.
like smoky, right into malty, and then just this sort of clean, recedes off the tongue back into your sort of that sort of residual Gouda flavor.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, it's
it
like-
does taste a little like a Gouda, but I think that's the smoke, right?
Right. It's just the imagination
Yeah, it is.
taking over where you're
Because
tasting.
the only place that we would taste anything like that really is in that smoked cheese,
Right.
Yeah.
right? And so it's just kind of, that's the only point of association I have, because it's
Right.
not, like you said earlier, it's not like barbecue smoke.
Right.
It's not like a campfire
Right.
smoke. It's very much kind of a subtle, pleasant,
Yeah.
Right.
even level.
Deli smoke.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, right, many beers you have a more distinct start, middle, finish, right?
Right.
But really, it's I don't know if you use this word, but the integrity of this beer
Right.
is really intact, right? From the beginning to the end. And again, it's a smooth finish, but still, it's that smoked cheese that's just there.
Right. I mean, I guess it's really clear why this won,
Yeah.
or how this won two
But on top of that too, it's
European beer stars.
yeah. On top of it too, it's really refreshing.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's not as heavy as it looks, right?
Right.
Or even
Yeah.
as it smells.
Yeah, you would
Very
expect,
refreshing.
comparing it to American style beers or things we
Right.
could find typically, it's got a much more mild flavor than anything its color would suggest.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It kind of reminds me almost of
good.
like Christmas evening around the fireplace.
Oh yeah.
Just like that warm, homey
Yeah.
evocation.
Yeah. Well, even if it's warm outside and you're just sitting on the porch, man. And really, it's, again, like there's some beers where you think it must be great with right, a certain type of meal or some kind of food, right, anything, snack. But this is just kind of a standalone beer
Yeah.
because that flavor.
It leaves
Oh.
nothing lacking.
No,
You
seriously,
don't
yeah.
need to compliment it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right, in its own right, it's its own experience.
Yeah.
And you can treat it that way. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah,
Top those off.
there you go. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
That's really impressive.
really the first I've ever had like it.
Yeah. Really unique.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been talking about this balance and then these really complementary flavors. It's almost like that you had to pick the yeast and you had to pick the malts, really, and maybe the smoke too, the wood, to pair perfectly. But it's so smooth. It's seamless. You know, there's not like a break between, you know, the front. You know, it's nice and smooth.
Right. Yeah.
From
No.
beginning to end.
I like that. You think about it. You're not picking things that complement each other well. Whether you think of food and a drink, but in this you think the ingredients of the beer. Yeah, they're things that are incredibly different from each other, but you match it so well that it's hard to think of this because it's so wholesome, right? Its integrity, that you don't think of it as being like, oh, the parts can be so distinct.
Right.
But yeah, a certain smoke complemented that, those grains, so well. How about hops? Are you guys tasting anything with hops?
No.
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, there's a sort of. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that it's definitely not what you would call a malty beer, but there's not a sense that hops are what's holding that back. It's just a very even, almost I would say a calm. I mean, like imagine rolling smoke. That's kind of how it goes down. It just sort of rolls over.
Right. Well, like Dan said, this beer has integrity. It doesn't seem like it's forced together. It seems very harmonious, right?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be silly to say this, but it's like the hop and the smoke kind of became one, where you can't really tell.
Right.
But if you start thinking when you have that smoked flavor, think of it as a hop. And, oh, maybe that's where
The
the hops
marriage of hop and fire.
are. Precisely.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, that was just downright enjoyable.
Yeah, that is really good. I'm glad we got to try that again. Because the first time.
Right.
I don't think I can appreciate it.
Right. Exactly. I wouldn't say smoke while you're drinking this beer. Don't have a cigar and drink this beer. Or even a pipe smoke.
I would
Just
reiterate,
drink
this
the beer
beer
alone.
stands alone It's
Yeah.
well worth it.
Yeah, I love the balance of this beer, how seamless it is. I'd put this close to a 5, probably like a 4.7. It might not be my choice of style, but it's so smooth and so well crafted.
Yeah.
It's got to be a high, probably 4.7, something like that.
Man, and it's hard to say what a 5 would be, right? But as far as this being, again, as we talked, like a standalone beer, right, Dominic? And really, when I think of it like that, which I really appreciate that, I mean, I'd put it close to a 5. I mean, even higher. Well, I'd say 4.8, 4.9.
Yeah, I'm gonna say as far as the style, it's very unique. It's unlike any beer I've ever tasted. And because of that, I really can't think of a beer I've enjoyed more like I've been thinking. And so I'm gonna give this a full-on 5 because it was fantastic.